is up, fellas? Welcome to Bass and Brews Fishing Podcast. We got a hell of a good time lined up for y'all tonight. If you're watching, thank you for watching. If you listen on the podcast, make sure you make notes of the funny stuff you see on here so you can go back and watch it, because I promise it's going to be a good time. We got two of the funniest dudes in the podcast land that you will find. So tonight with me, we got my guest co-host, Jeff Mallot from Kayak Bass Nation. Jeff, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming on. What's going on with you? What's new for the new year so far?
Man, not much so far. Just kind of gearing up. You know, we're all about the kayak bass. I know you guys talk about a little bit of everything, but tournament season's getting ready to fire up, so just gearing up for that. Doing a little bit of fishing when I can.
Nice, I hear you. All right, well, our guest tonight, I'm excited to have on. We got Drew and Chris from the Paddler's Playbook. And this is a saltwater fishing podcast for the most part. And I don't care about saltwater fishing or nothing like that, but I listen to this show every single time it comes on. I got it's one of mine. It's one of mine I make sure I hit. And so for them coming on tonight, for all our regular listeners, you know, we like to have a good time and we give banter back and forth, and we're going to talk a lot of dookie. All right, 3 seconds. We're going to talk a lot of shit.
Shit. You don't say shit, because after 2 minutes, shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
See, Alex, I got to follow Alex's rules. So anyway,
son.
That sounds like some Coast Guard stuff to me, Paul. I don't know.
Man.
Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, look, he might have a little bit of a Napoleon complex. He's short, little skinny bitch, but we'll figure those intricacies out later. Drew, Chris, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Drew.
What's going on, man? What's up, Chris?
I just want to let you know, man. I have a feeling this is a fucking trap.
It's a trap.
I have a feeling this is a trap.
I'm
a thirst trap. I heard that's something the kids say now. Thirst trap.
I have no idea. I have no idea what the kids say at all. I can tell you what old people say, but not the kids.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I don't know what that means. I've just heard it. So.
Well, we can analyze it. I mean, we know what being
thirsty
is, but I mean, what's the thirst trap? Somebody Google that.
Well, hold on now. Go to the Urban Dictionary. Yeah. What kind of trap would a handsome Southerner like myself be setting for y'all?
Chris, what kind of trap?
Man, I don't know, but it just don't feel right. It feels rather strange that, you know, these bass dudes want to talk to us salt guys. The last time we did this, man, we ended up talking about shoving lemons up redfish buttholes.
We did. How the conversation got there, I have no idea. But we were on the Dark Waters podcast, and he got to talking about shoving lemons up redfish's butts.
Well, hey, Paul, I did go to the Wikipedia, and it says a thirst trap is a type of social media post intended to entice viewers sexually, which is what he was just talking about with the redfish. So maybe you were setting that kind of trap. I don't know.
Redfish buttholes, man.
I don't know. Apparently, redfish are the largemouth bass of the ocean. Except it's okay to eat redfish, where if you eat largemouth bass, you're some kind of heathen.
Who said that?
Well, everybody. I grew up eating largemouth bass, and people look at me like I lost my fucking mind. Like I shouldn't be allowed to fish sometimes. It's weird, bud.
It was just that social acceptance that took over after some time. You know, it's still okay to eat them. For all you listeners out there, you're gonna hate me. But it's okay to eat hardhead. It's okay to eat bowfin. It's okay to eat snakehead. Whatever you want to eat, man, you go right ahead and eat it.
That's true. Well, look, before we get any deeper into the debauchery that's probably going to happen tonight, Did anybody bring any beverage that they want to crack open? Because this is one of the things that we do here on this podcast is we like to crack open a beverage and talk about it if you're so willing to.
Now, I've been
Drew, you got your
the
Bravazzi, man?
No, I don't. But I've been listening to the last few episodes, and I'm very surprised that, you know, you said the word heathen just now. You went from the Faith fishing podcast, which you did the last one, and then you brought me and Chris on after that. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work out, but I got a Carbach
Drew
seltzer.
figured out the trap.
Woo! I
Nice.
did. That was I got the Carbach Ranch Water hard seltzer lime. Is what
Drew
I got
doesn't
here.
really drink like, regular man drinks.
The seltzer.
The seltzer?
Which I don't mind. I don't mind drinking TV static every now and then. But
Oh Lord.
More of a White Claw situation.
Look,
I like
Look.
the Topo Chico for real.
All right.
That's pretty
Mr.
good
Marsh
stuff.
Jump, tell him about the White Claw. It's what you had on the last episode, ain't it?
look, Bo. Look, this
There
is
you
the
go.
man's White Claw right here. This is a surge. Just 8% alcohol.
Oh
Blood.
my
Look.
god!
8%.
So is
Drew
hey,
knows firsthand what happens whenever I drink anything that high in alcohol content. I don't
Look.
wake up for 3 days.
8%.
What were you saying, Jeff?
Huh? I think that my wife's Moscato is 8% in the fridge in there too. But I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
that's too much sugar. That's
Yeah.
too much sugar. I fucked my tummy up. This right here, boy, no headache and no beer shits the next morning. This stuff right here. This is angelic beverage. This is angelic alcohol right here.
Angelic alcohol. I'll have to remember that one.
I'm a roller.
So Jeff, did you bring anything to partake
yeah,
of
man.
tonight?
I
What you
went
got,
into my
son?
special stash for you tonight.
Oh hell yeah!
So every year there's at least one tournament up in the north, up in Wisconsin.
Oh,
So
yes.
I always stop and grab a case of Spotted Cow from New Glarus. It's only sold up in Wisconsin. I only have about 4 of them left, so pulled one out for this little show.
I am very, very truly appreciative of a Spotted Cow being on here because you would think that can is made of gold the way them folks talk about it when they get it and come back down. So thank you for bringing that on.
Yes, sir.
That good fish. What you got? Hold on. What?
I want to ask a question real quick. Do y'all got surly up there, right? In North Carolina, can you get surly?
I don't. What is that like? Scissor?
I'm sure if you go to the right bar.
Man, I need to surly, not Shirley.
Is that another seltzer? Is that beer?
No, man. Yeah, it is a beer. Surly is a brewery up in. You can't get it down here in Texas. It's kind of like Yingling was not allowed to be, sent to Texas forever, and now we finally got it. But Surly is a damn good beer, and some of those guys, some of your listeners are probably going to comment. It's fantastic. But tonight I'm drinking Guinness, some good old dark beer. But
Nice.
I had to make it special, man. Had to make it special. We got half a Reds inside in the mug.
Okay.
So Guinness and Reds, it's a pretty good combination. It'll get you bit.
All right. Well, let's crack these open so we can get to talking about what we came here to talking about. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. So tell us, you two can battle back and forth. I ain't gonna ask. Y'all do this enough. Tell us about Paddler's Playbook.
Chris,
How it
Where you
started.
want to start?
I want to know how you got to where y'all two are right now in the sense of Paddler's Playbook, not what you did this morning shit, but how you
I've
started.
got a great story as to how it started. This started about 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, all I wanted to do was go fishing, right? And so I called up some buddies. We all got together and we went down to a place called Dirty Pelican. All right. I know it sounds like you could possibly get a staph infection or
you can find
maybe some scabies.
You can find those surly guys at the Dirty Pelican.
You're gonna have sores on your lips in 2 weeks.
We went down to the Dirty Pelican. First thing I did, man, was I threw a 12-pack of beer inside the center hatch of my kayak, threw my rods on, hopped in the water and paddled on out. Got past the breakers. The breakers, of course, are the surf,
I know
and
what the fuck a wave is, asshole.
Just wanted to make sure for you bass guys that y'all knew what wave was. So we get past the breakers, and I'm like, where the hell is these guys that I'm supposed to be fishing with? Well, they're back in the fucking truck. Why are they in the fucking truck? Why won't they get in their kayaks and come out here? Because they're wheeling and dealing, trying to make a deal with this guy, Bill something or other, to become pro staff. And that is kind of how the whole deal got started, man. I was like, I got to know more about this pro staff stuff. So I started hanging out with this fella right over here, Drew. And he was all about the pro staff.
Hold up. Are you gonna call him by his name, or you gonna call him all the shit that you've been talking in our Instagram messages setting this up? Which one's it gonna be
look,
tonight?
man, when he calls me, it just says Baldy on the phone. But anyway, so yeah, it started about 10 years ago, and we kind of in the kayaking world, we all got sucked into this phenomenon called pro staff at some point in our the little life that we live, right? We all wanted to be a part of something like that. And then all of a sudden, if you grow up, it wears off, and you no longer want to be a part of that, and you kind of feel like it's icky, it's gross, and then you want to try and save people. You want to try and save people from going down that route. And so you kind of let them know, hey, man, it's just about fishing. It's just about getting out there. It's just about getting on the water. It's about getting around the campfire, doing some camping. It's about being in the outdoors, and it's about just doing the man shit that you want to do, even if you're a female and you want to do that kind of shit. And
but this real quick, getting into the pro staff back then, was this to get you 10% discount, or was it at this point in time, was it something like I'm a promo staff member?
It was probably longer than 10 years ago though, Drew, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for me, and it's always been this way. I'm frugal, so I wanted the least amount of money that I could spend on anything. And back then, I thought it was by being pro staff and getting a pro staff deal with stuff. Now I know it's just you got to know people. You got to have relationships. And then you can work your way into those pro staff / promotional or regional teams. And you can work your way into those teams, but it's really about just making relationships with people. Will save you a lot of money in the long run from a lot of these different companies. But it was never like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the newest. I want to be the YouTube sensation type of guy. It was just, I like free shit. So I wanted to figure out.
We tried the YouTube sensation thing. I think Drew has one video in this whole entire
I got
library.
three videos. 3 videos on there. And just
y'all not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Chris was talking about that trip to Dirty Pelican, and
I think it was Micah that actually wouldn't come out of the truck. Maybe it was you. I don't know. But
No,
one
Micah,
of y'all was trying to wheel and deal.
Micah came out of the truck, but just to tip guys on this very first trip that I went. I mean, first tip of the episode here. So Chris is already out there, and there's probably, 8 of us going out there. We're trying to hit the bull
big
red.
group.
Yeah, we're trying to hit the bull red run. You don't have to paddle very far to catch bull reds. I mean, you're probably 300, 400, 500 yards offshore is as far as you got to go. You're in about 30 foot of water, maybe, and you're just throwing big chunks of dead mullet out there. I paddle on out there. I get set. I pull my anchor out. I throw my anchor in the damn water. And there just goes my anchor. I didn't attach my anchor to the boat at all. Nothing. Just chunked it and watched the rope go. So I got to paddle all the way back in and then go buy another anchor, because you really can't. If you drift out there with the way the current's running,
you're going to be all over the damn place.
You're just going to be all over the damn place. So there's no way that you can fish out there without an anchor. So first tip for everybody. Attach your anchor before you throw it off of the kayak.
Well, so this happens in the bass fishing world a lot too. Somebody will tie a lure on, and they go to snip the tail end of the line, and they snip it and throw the lure in there, and the bitch just keeps flying.
Just keeps on going.
Yeah. So there's 2 things. Hold up. There's 2 things right here. One, y'all were kayak fishing back in the days when they won't know kayak fishing kayaks.
Correct.
We had good kayak fishing kayaks at that time. But I'm going to say when Drew and I first started kayak fishing, yeah, we didn't have very good kayaks to fish out of. Actually, whenever I first started kayaking, there were no real fishing kayaks. That was around 2001. But
if they had a rod holder on them, they were a fishing kayak.
yeah, I think your Tarpon 160 that you had, Drew, I don't think it had rod holders on it.
No.
Your double hatch, your dual hatch, I don't think it did.
No. But my Ocean did.
Your Scrambler?
Yeah, the Scrambler had one rod holder on there. And if anybody's listening, go look up the Ocean Scrambler XT and tell me how smart I was for trying to make that thing into a crappie rig. Just go Google it. That's what we were dealing with back then.
So the second point I want to make is I got 3 OGs. And yeah, OG stands for old guys. There's 3 old guys on the podcast tonight with me. But in all seriousness, Jeff has been kayak fishing for 11 years now, Jeff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right. All 3 of y'all have been in this kayak fishing scene for a long ass time. And
there's people out there that have been in it twice as long as us.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's on the ocean side, right? This is nothing new on the saltwater side, right?
Talking to Jim Sammons, you would think that this thing started back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. If you talk to that bass guy, I can't remember his name, Chad something or other. You would think
he invented it. He invented it. Jeff is just shaking his head, but he invented it.
Yeah. All right. So, but this is. I mean, this.
You say exploited? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. You misspelled. Anyway. So all right. So back to the dirty blind pelican.
So anyway, I just brought up that story because honestly, that's whenever I first heard the term pro staff and that people were actually wheeling and dealing to try and get into product staffs. And when we started our show, Drew and I have always talked once we got out of that mindset that you need to be a part of something in order to be a part of something. We said, he came up to me, he said, let's do something different. Let's do a podcast. And I was like, what the fuck is a podcast? And so he told me what it was. Yeah, he told me what it was. I was like, sure. I love to talk, man. I talk all the damn time. I won't shut up. So I was like, that's my wheelhouse, man. I'll talk. So we started thinking about the concept for the show and how we were going to structure it. And man, we sat down to pen and paper a lot. For the first few episodes, it was like, man, we got to get this thing done right. And then, but it was all what you've been hearing, what you've been listening to with the show. You said you listen to it every time a new episode comes out. Now you can see the organics of what it's become. And it really is about the bro staff. Okay. We try to take that negative term bro staff and turn it into something that's more positive so that people have, instead of that negative connotation, it's like, it really is a brotherhood of fishermen, and we're going to help each other out no matter what. And that's really what the show became. We no longer, after episodes, we were like, we kind of got to stop scripting this stuff. Just try to, go with the flow. Just have some bullet points to hit. And honestly, man, it's done really, really well. The organics of it are healthy and wholesome. Even though I talk a lot of smack and talk a lot of shit, and guys, I know if you've ever listened to the Paddler's Playbook, you've heard me talk about greenfish this, greenfish that, right? I freaking sound like I've never been in a freshwater body of fresh water my whole entire life, right? I spend a lot of time in the freshwater. I just don't like it that much. I love salt, man. I love salt. I love that marsh mud that smells like you just done took a step into someone's bunghole.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It smells like holy death has just risen up inside your waders. But I do freshwater fish quite a bit.
But is the truth though that you want to fish for redfish and saltwater fish because they're easy to catch, where bass are a challenge and you got to have some skill, right?
Drew, what do you think about that,
buddy? They're both have their challenges. I'll say that.
I'm just going off of y'all say redfish are dumb.
Redfish are dumb.
Oh, redfish are
they're
dumb.
Stupid.
I do.
They're stupid. But so is a squirrel, and go try to catch a squirrel. I mean, they're dumb. But you scare a squirrel and it takes off, you're not getting that squirrel. So it's the same
Jeff,
type
I think I asked you this question whenever you were on our podcast about trying to catch the same bass twice. Have you ever caught the same bass twice?
Yeah, I mean when they're spawning, yeah, you can do that pretty easly.
But only when they're spawning, because they're protecting.
And you can still do that back-to-back days or even a couple days apart. You can do that. I've done that. But yeah, I mean bass are dumb too. They just seem to be a little harder to find or pattern than some other fish.
Yeah, and there's the big difference is you see a bass on a bed, that bass is going to stay there on the bed. And I'm strictly talking about sight casting because that's what we like to do the most. You see a bass on a bed, you can flip it in front of them, you can drag it in front of them 10 times and they won't budge, they won't move. You pull up on a redfish and you throw at it twice and it doesn't hit, that sumbitch is gone. Like, and you're not gonna find him again because he's you better go around to another cove and go look for something different. It's more of stalking sometimes with redfish than it is fishing. To me,
that's why a lot of guys call themselves redfish hunters.
Yeah, they say they're a hunter instead.
I guess if a redfish got really, really pissed off, it could swim from Texas to North Carolina. I mean, bass are landlocked. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. No, it's really funny to watch them do this because when they take off and there's this massive headweight behind them, it's like, buddy, where are you going, man?
Yeah.
It's just no end. He's just gone, man.
Well, if you have to stalk a redfish to catch them, I'm fucking out. I am loud. I'm beating and banging. I talk to myself loudly. I'm self-deprecating. I started recording all this shit now too. Like if you have to be quiet and stealthy, I'm the metal John boat of kayak fishing.
No, man, look, I am not a saltwater guy, but we do the Southern people trek to the beach once a year, like people do. And I just bring Zara spooks and swim baits, and we catch them, man. I mean, it's like bass fishing. To me.
It is, and that's what I was going to say. Now, if you're going sight casting, meaning you are just drifting down a shoreline, you're looking for tails, you're looking for a little bit of wake, you're standing up on the seat of your kayak, you're physically looking to see the fish before you toss in front of it. That's one thing. Setting up, anchoring down in front of a drain as the tide is coming out and just chunking in that drain
Your
over
favorite
and
kind
over
of
and
fishing,
over.
huh, Drew?
That is just I've been doing a lot more sight casting, but just throwing in a drain over and over and over. That's a completely different type of red fishing. Or throwing a Poppin Cork on a shoreline. That's a completely different type of red fishing. But I don't think anything beats sight casting redfish from a skiff or from a kayak.
I'm colorblind, so I can't sight fish shit. Like bed fishing for me, I can't.
It's okay, man. It looks like a brown stick under the water. In fact, Drew was like, Drew was like, "Is that a fish? No, that's a stick. No, I'm pretty sure it's fish. No, that's a stick. I'm gonna cast at that stick. You cast at that stick. I caught that fucking stick.
It was a redfish,
and it swam.
Wasn't no damn stick. It was a redfish.
All right, tell me what the hell a Poppin Cork is, because I hear y'all talk about this shit all the time. I got
originally
a
crappie rig.
So it ain't a top water bait that pops.
Well, no,
it's not originally a crappie rig.
So most good Poppin Corks are probably about 4 inches. They're about 4 inches tall. Of course, it's a float. It's a cork. It's got a weight at the bottom of it, and then the top has a cup in it. Now, you have a titanium or stainless steel wire or some type of cable that goes through the cork, and then on the bottom of that, you tie on a leader. Depending on what depth you're fishing, if you're fishing in a foot of water, you know, your leader's only going to be 6 inches long, and you can put an 18-inch leader. And then on the end of that leader, you put a jig head and some sort of soft plastic. Now, whenever you pop this poppin' cork, your line is attached to the top of the cork. And then whenever you pull it, that cupped portion of that cork will make a huge chugging and like a splash. The redfish, think of that as another feeding fish and that there's bait in the water, and they will come towards it, and hopefully they see your soft plastic that is dangling in the water hanging down from that cork. Now, they will come up and crush your cork sometimes.
Yeah.
They'll come up and just demolish the cork.
They're greedy
They
fish.
sound vicious.
Yes, but a lot of the times, I mean, you're just popping your cork. Soon as you pop it, 2 seconds later, your cork goes under because something came and grabbed that soft plastic that's floating from that popping cork.
Why wouldn't you just throw a big popper or a big chug
That's,
bug?
yeah.
Well, that too, man. Hey, so a lot of times in saltwater, what we have to fight and battle constantly is grass, right? Seagrass.
Okay.
Yep.
And you know the popar has got a treble on it, right? So there are times where you need to get that lure down below the grass, and I'm gonna go ahead and let this secret out because this is on a freshwater podcast. You work that poppin' cork. Do you know what cord grass is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so think of the bank of your water is up against land, but in salt water, you've got a portion of that bank that's probably 6 to 18 inches of just real dense grass called cord grass, and it's called cord grass because it looks like straight cords that just come up out of the water, right? It's real thick, real dense, and inside that grass, redfish kind of push themselves in and around that grass, and they wait for shit to float by, and then they'll just jump out and attack it, right?
Yeah.
So if you work that poppin' cork parallel with the shoreline, that popar, think about how hard it would be to keep that damn thing working just right there.
Keep it
Straight on the shoreline. But that poppin' cork, what you can do is you can set it up, and plus, you know that fish isn't sitting right there on the top. You want to put that lure 6 to 8 inches down so that whenever it passes right by it, it's going to pass right by its face. And you're popping that cork, and you're able to manipulate it a lot easier than that popar or any type of topwater popper.
Yeah.
Paul, what I'm hearing is I'm going to take that popping cork to Toledo Bend and run some grass.
Hey, some guys have tried it, man, and it's
I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah.
It's like
you'll
Chris,
find some YouTube videos on it.
Yeah, of guys using it, but like Chris was saying, the grass that we're fishing is 1.5 feet, 2 foot above the water also, so you can't get anything through it, and you want to be as close to it as possible, so that popping cork allows you to pop it away from the grass, let the wind drift it back in right on the edge, pop it away back and forth, and you can work it very, very close to the shoreline into the actual grass without getting caught up on anything.
Yeah.
So Jeff, this is how we cover water, pitching and flipping. Like instead of, you cover a whole damn grass line before you ever pitch it into with this thing, right?
It's a wild combination of a couple techniques we would use, I'd say. You know what I mean?
Well, it also sounds like a fucking math problem to put this thing together. So
I've actually tried to throw one when we've gone down on our little trips, and I get frustrated and just put it away.
Where do you go, Jeff? I wanted to ask, where do you go, Redfish?
I go down to Alabama, typically.
Okay.
The Redneck Riviera down there, the Orange Beach, Pensacola.
Orange Beach. Well, I did a lot of growing up there.
Yeah, that bridge down there was legendary for catching redfish. The what's that called? 3 Mile Bridge or whatever. It crosses over Pensacola. got blown out with the hurricane. But you go into there with the traffic lights, those spooks, swim baits, whopper ploppers, whatever, catch them.
I mean, it's one of the most effective, if not the most effective, tournament redfish technique.
I wouldn't say that. I think it's what everybody puts in their back pocket for later. If anything else isn't working,
effective.
Yeah, if anything else isn't working, they pull out the Poppin Cork. So
I see them boys. I catch myself watching those tournaments on Saturday morning television. I see them popping corks flying around.
Yeah, they do throw them. So what is the tool in a freshwater bass fisherman's tackle box? Like if nothing else is working, like all your favorite shit ain't working that day. Well, I know I can get it done with this.
Ned rig over the last probably 3 or 4 years, Jeff.
I ain't never
and then
thrown
a
it,
jig. I've thrown a Ned rig and I hate that sumbitch. I'd rather not catch fish.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm trying to get better and more and use that thing. It gets hung up so much.
Yeah,
and you catch so many small fish, it just pisses me off. But
it's because it's on the bottom, right?
Yeah, and it's little. It's
like
like this,
like 2 inches.
But
yeah,
it's effective.
Jig,
can't argue with it. It's effective.
Yeah, it gets bites. A jig would be like let's say a tournament scenario, right? A jig would be what a lot of people go to because you're not necessarily going to get a lot of bites, but the bites you get are typically going to be better fish. But Jeff, what's won the most money in the kayak bass fishing world over the last 3 years, Jeff?
Well, you would think people say chatterbait all the time. Chatterbait, jackhammer. I don't know if I believe everybody, to be honest.
So
it works.
The
jackhammer, people throw that jackhammer though.
The jackhammer made a huge impact on the saltwater scene, and everybody says it catches fish, but I've never heard a single tournament angler say they caught their fish on a jackhammer.
But most tournament anglers ain't gonna tell you what they catching them on in the tournament anyway. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, you're right. What'd you catch them on? Man, a black and blue spinnerbait with a Colorado blade. Dude, there was no wind. It was sunny as hell. How did you do that? I mean,
that's why I don't believe him, Paul. Everybody says it. Everybody says it. Why would they all say it?
Jackhammer.
Yeah. I mean, it works.
I just tell people the truth. I'm not good enough to lie to them.
Exactly.
I just tell them what I was fishing with. I'm like, here's what I was using.
I'm not witty enough to come up with something, good on the whim like that. They like put you on the podium and they ask you, what'd you catch him on? I'm like, fuck Berkeley. Go.
Berkeley.
Fucking go, man.
Choose something, Berkeley.
So back to the Paddler's Playbook podcast to where you are now. So you got it. You want it to be organic. You didn't want it to be scripted. You want to have those conversations, right? And so y'all, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the first few episodes were very scripted. Me and Chris are both
It's
planners.
hard to go back and listen to those.
Yeah, we're planners. So the reason I knew that me and Chris would work, so I think we've talked about this on the show before. I used to DJ weddings and events and parties and stuff like that, and Chris still DJs weddings and events and parties and stuff. So I was like, okay, we can be on the mic, we can entertain, it's not going to bother us, we can ask questions and stuff. And then I both knew that we were kind of anal about planning stuff and making sure we had some details down, and we both had a decent network of people that we could get on the show. So I knew it was going to work from that aspect. But if you go back and listen to, I'd say at least the first three. Yeah. The first 3 episodes are tough to listen to because they're very, like our first 15 minutes were scripted
Drew,
on
how
everyone.
was it whenever you went fishing on Friday evening at 9 p.m.?
They're bad. But then when we, because I think we did the first 3, the first 2 were just me and him, and then I can't remember who we brought on. And I think the 4th one, maybe we had on one of our friends, Rico, and then it got into really organic talk. And it was just to the point now where I'll make, depending on who the guest is, but usually I'll make a rough outline, and it will be like 4 or 5 talking points and maybe 1 or 2 sub points, and that's all that's on there for a 2-hour conversation, and then we just let the conversation go from there. As far as what we're going to talk about, it's very, very minimalist. As far as, I mean, we have an idea of what we're going to ask them, but it's only 4 main topics that we want to cover.
I got to drop a truth bomb here, man. The truth is, Chris is not fucking organized whatsoever. In fact, this is like a Laverne and Shirley moment that's going on here.
You're not organized, but you like to plan stuff.
Well, sure.
You're a
Yeah,
planner.
I can plan, but I like to plan shit on the whim, dude. I'm like, damn, I got 6 hours available, to myself. I can plan something out in 6 hours and have a blast. But yeah, Drew really does handle the calendar of events, putting things together as far as who's going to talk on the shows. I've thrown in some people here and there. In fact, Paul, you and I were the ones that have discussed getting this thing together. Some of my connections in Florida we've had on the show just to kind of spice things up a little bit. I'm definitely not in the know whenever it comes to folks in the bass world. Dude, I just don't social media enough. I really don't.
Yeah, well, look, man, you got a bunch of professionals in the bass world. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody's a professional, especially since anybody can put up a YouTube video on how to tie a Texas rig.
Now, why is it called a Texas rig? Is it from Texas?
Somebody down
I
there,
would
man.
assume
Somebody
so,
down there did
yeah.
it.
Somebody had to have done it. It's like we got
gotta
the
be
Carolina
fucking
rig.
great then.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the Carolina rig. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
The
There's
Ned
2
rig was
Carolinas.
a guy named Ned. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's the truth. The damn guy named Ned. Wasn't he in Arkansas? Jeff?
That was a Nebraska guy.
Okay, yeah.
We've actually got some saltwater Neds that are about to hit the scene pretty soon.
Ooh, can
Go
we
work.
talk about that yet?
Them damn things.
I don't think we can talk about it yet because they haven't. But yeah, I'm waiting for them.
Ain't none of y'all's. Well, I guess y'all's listeners are going to be listening to this.
Oh no,
Anyway.
these are going to be for the bass world too.
Yeah, they are
yeah.
going to be for the bass world because this dude is just a monster at creating lures. And when you put them in your hand, each one feels custom. Each one feels custom made. But you can buy them just like you do buy, a pack of, jelly worms, and they're going to be just badass, man.
We'll talk about
wait
it
a
after
minute.
this is over. We'll
Y'all
talk
know
about
what-
it after this is over. I'll
y'all
let
are
y'all
talking
know.
about a Ned rig, right? Because it's just like a little nub. How can it be badass?
Just wait. It's not going to be just
so
a
it's a
little
little, it's a little nub, right? It's a.
I mean, how do you make that? It's like the most spectacular nub you've ever seen in your life.
It's gonna be a nub with features.
Just think of it as
features.
a Ned rig creature bait.
That's how I
Okay.
got my wife. Baby,
nature.
my nub got features.
Special. It was special.
Hey, baby, you ever seen a Ned like this?
Wow.
It's just another nub. Nah, honey, mine's got features.
It's got features.
It's features. This ain't no cut down Cinco. This is poured special. Okay. Anyway.
Look, this is how Bass and Brews goes. This is how it goes. There's no telling what's coming next, especially
I
with
could have sworn
these 2.
legit Ned rigs were a product of the fly world.
No.
I have no idea.
I don't know why I thought that.
There was a dude that was a co-angler that kept getting his ass whooped by his boater in bass boat tournaments. He, like fishing the opens and stuff. You have to fish in the back of the boat. And he figured out this little deal that he could just drag behind the boat and get bites. And that was the Ned rig.
Oh wow.
Mr. Ned from Nebraska.
Yep.
I've caught some pike off of Ned rig.
Yeah.
But Bo, you in the South, it's called fucking jackfish.
I was in Maine. I caught pike in
shit.
Maine, so they were
Well,
fucking
you need
pike, buddy.
No, that's jackfish. I don't care. Pike, pickerel, they all jackfish.
Anytime people don't know what the hell it is, they're like, that's a jackfish. How many different species of jackfish do we have?
But
Paul,
I'm
I fish
from
for
the
bass.
Carolinas.
Yeah, man, I fish for bass. So a pickerel, a gar, a pike, a muskie. It's all the same nonsense to me, man. I don't know about you.
If I can't lip it, it's a jackfish because it's got sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Hey, I caught a jackfish in Maine then.
All
I
right.
caught some smallmouth bass too. That was my first on a Ned rig.
Mm-hmm. They got gobies.
Killer.
Well, I might have got them in there.
Gobies?
Yeah, like up in Michigan and areas, gobies a little damn. It's some kind of little fish that
They're a fantastic bass bait.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That's what the
nothing.
net imitates up there.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question, if I may. Do either one of y'all paddle anymore?
I do.
You do?
We both do.
do.
In fact, I just bought a Tarpon 160 T160i that has never been in the water. I promise you. I look at it and I'm like, this thing has nearly a single scratch, and I can't wait to go paddle it. But I also have a Trident, Ocean Kayak Trident that I paddle. I've got.
That's cool, man. I know the bass boat guys, once they put the paddle down, they never seem to go back. They're done with it. But I
also
see
have 3 Outbacks.
Yeah, I'm just saying they don't
use them all
do
at the same
both.
time.
You know what I mean? They don't do both. But I see the salt guys, they either use both or still paddle all the time. They don't get away from it and just go strictly pedal.
It's more stealthy. So I have a PA and I have a native ultimate, and if it's gonna be glass out there, I'm gonna take the native ultimate because I can sneak up on a fish a lot easier than I can in the PA, and it sits up a little bit higher. So even if there's a little bit of wind, it catches the wind more, so it'll push me off my drift, or it'll push me from where I want to paddle around. So if I'm going a decent distance, I'm taking the PA. But if I have to choose and the conditions are, money.
I was going to say, if you have to expend effort.
Yeah, it's a 2 mile paddle. I'm taking the native just because I'm more comfortable with it, and I actually enjoy paddling. So
if I'm doing a 20-mile day, I'm definitely in the Outback. But I have done some 20-mile days paddling.
And it sucks. I don't care what the fuck Chris says.
Fucking fantastic, man. I actually love those 20-mile days paddling. You drain that battery all the way down. You get beat to hell, go home, sleep like a freaking baby, wake up the next day completely refreshed.
Dude, I can eat a double meat Whataburger and sleep like a baby. I don't need to fucking paddle that far.
When you get home, you walk in the door like this.
Your
shoulders
hands
all damn tore up.
Your hands are cramping around the steering wheel as you're driving home.
Oh, I've
been there many times. You gotta pry your damn fingers off the steering wheel.
And you finally get to the Whataburger to go ahead and make that order, and you stick your hand out the window to get your bag, and it's like, hold on, let me get my good hand.
I really should be drinking a Powerade, but I need some caffeine, so give me that Dr. Pepper. I'm going to dehydrate myself some more.
God,
long drive home.
That's crazy. That's a lot of miles. So on a tournament day for me, like I'll be somewhere between 12 and 14 miles, and I got a PA pedaling. I don't have a motor. And I holy shit, y'all sitting here talking about 20 miles paddling?
Don't y'all. That's Chris. That ain't me. That's Chris.
But there's a lot of people like me that will do it.
That's a lot, dude. That is.
There's a couple lakes. There's a couple lakes that there's no way you're going to get to them except for 10 miles one way to get there.
6 to 8 mile day is like my maximum enjoyment for paddling. If it's any more than that, it's like.
Have you been to any rigs, Drew?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Corpus, Freeport.
Name the rig, ding dong.
Freeport, the 5 mile rig.
Okay, 5 mile rig at Freeport. So that's right there already 10 miles, man. Plus all the pedaling you had to do to sit your ass out there.
I'm aware. And
so
I said enjoyable.
20-mile day.
I said enjoyable. On the way in, the way out there, life is good. The way back, life sucks.
Yeah, especially if that current turns on you. Ooh.
Life is a pain in the ass coming back in.
How the hell do the waves not knock your shit over?
They do. Ask Chris.
Well, that's because I was
that
in
dirty
a Jackson.
that dirty pelican he was talking about. He got flipped that day.
That's because I was in
coming
a
back
Jackson
in.
Cuda, thinking I could surf it.
Oh
And
shit!
Yeah.
yeah, man, it took a nosedive. I got a video of it. I'll have to send it to you. And I ate shit, man. Plus, that it wasn't very smart for me to put a case of beer in the hole.
Well, and there's a technique. There's a technique to it called the Paris Hilton. And where the name Paris Hilton comes from, I have no idea. But it
Because you're
started
getting it
out
from behind, man.
It started out on the TKF forum. So if the waves are above, I'd say 2 foot, like 2 foot waves max, 1.5 foot, that's a pretty tall wave when you're actually really looking at it. So
In a kayak.
whenever you get to the breakers where they're breaking on the sandbars, you actually turn your kayak backwards. So you face the nose into the wave. And what you do is the wave
Slightly
comes,
paddle into it.
paddle into it and get yourself straight. And then when that wave comes, it'll push you back. And then you'll end up going up over the wave. And then you straighten yourself back up. And then the next one comes. Because it's much easier to control yourself if you're dead straight in the wave. Because if you try to surf the wave in, you're going to get sideways a lot of the time if you don't sit there and practice it to ride the waves in.
Surfing those waves in a sit-on-top kayak takes some skill.
And you have to have the right type of
practice,
kayak to
and
do
it takes
it.
the right type of kayak. The rocker on a kayak is really important. You're not going to do it in a Hobie. You're not going to surf a Hobie. I don't care how skilled you are.
So I took 3 years ago. I've got a kayak. It's shaped kind of like a wilderness, but it's a Walmart kayak. Anyway, I took it to the beach and I spent a week surfing waves in on this kayak, a sit on top kayak. I'd show it to you, but I'd knock all this.
Is it like
shit
10
off.
or 12 foot long?
It's a 12-foot long.
12 foot are a lot easier to surf than
Yeah.
14 or.
I was surfing waves with people out there paddleboarding and shit, but the hatches leaked, so it would fill up with water, and I'd get out there and I'd keep flipping over, I couldn't get back in. But
Yep.
But
So you got the Paris Hilton technique where you come in backwards. And then you got the Snooki technique. There's another technique out there. The Snooki technique is when you bail because you don't want to hit that.
You just jump off.
You just jump the
hold
hell
on
off.
to the back of the kayak and hope none of your shit gets dunked.
So is this why y'all don't take a bunch of shit out when y'all go fishing? Is because you get the chances of losing it are higher?
Wait, who's he talking to?
Not
Because
bay
we take
fishing.
plenty
Yeah,
of shit.
not in the bay. I mean, we're strictly talking offshore, launching from the beach whenever we're talking about all the waves and everything.
Yeah.
But inshore fishing in the bays and everything, Chris is taking a whole lot of stuff. I've dialed down my tackle boxes.
If
and
I'm
stuff
tournament,
a lot
if
now.
it's on tournament day, you better believe it. I've got everything in my kayak.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I could possibly want or need. I know a lot of guys that are like, "Oh man, I just go out there with one bag of soft plastics, a top water, and a Poppin Cork, and I go ahead and take my check." And I'm like, "Bullshit!
They're lying.
You're lying, man. You know you've got." And I've got at least five rods, and I know that's a lot for you bass guys.
That's just their worm rods.
That's rookie numbers, son.
Yeah.
They got
That's-
five rods with jackhammers on them.
That's literally like the max I'll carry is 5 rods. I got one with a top water, one with a soft plastic, one with a Poppin Cork for sure, and then I probably got some sort of badass crankbait tied on, and then I might have. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I might have tied on. I know Poppin Cork.
Something small to sight cast.
Well, yeah, I usually have 2 different plastics tied on. One of them is going to be a sight casting plastic, and then the other one's going to be something that like a swim bait.
Yeah, I'll have a bugs on my other one.
I have a hard time throwing bugs, man. They're so light, but
The hell's a bug?
it's a lure that is like a creature bait, okay, of sorts, but it's literally tied like a fly. So it's built with feathers and hide and rather than plastic. rather than vulcanized rubber.
Yeah, but it's tied onto a 1/8 ounce, 16 ounce, 1/4 ounce jig head. So instead of just being tied onto a hook, it's tied onto a jig head.
So big hair jig.
Yeah.
I need to go buy some saltwater shit and see if I can't catch some bass with it over here in the lakes, because it's a whole. I mean, it does the same thing, different. Yeah,
I mean, it'll be something different if you have that bass that's seen every other jackhammer in the world. Throw a saltwater rig at it and see what happens.
Paul, I know for a fact there's a few guys that use saltwater swim baits and different things as trailers that nobody else is using out there on the kayak circuit for sure.
As a trailer.
Yeah. They're putting, some saltwater swim bait on their jackhammer or on the back of a spinnerbait or whatever.
Okay, so that's like a technique that we use down here where we take the hooks off of a topwater and use that. Behind it, we'll put a soft plastic on a jig head.
So alley-oop.
We shake and bake, baby.
You know what I think, Paul? I think the bait companies figured out they had to make it different so we'd buy different shit, but it all probably would work. You know what I mean?
It
would all probably work. But
they're
they had
all
to make
trying to eat fish. That's it. They got to look like fish.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Sometimes shit don't even look like no fish.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, what? So tell me this.
Y'all's creature baits look like nothing. I'm like, what the?
That's a crawdad, man. Down there.
That ain't no crawdad. I've seen a lot of crawdads.
I done ate a lot of crawfish, and ain't none of them ever looked like no bug.
Not a single one.
What the hell's up with the pink little strips of gulp shit? Like, how the hell does that catch fish?
Oh, he's talking about fish bites.
Fish bites, man. Fish bites.
Yeah,
how
fish
does
bites
that
is
fish?
It's a synthetic, but it's man.
It puts off of oil. I mean, it puts off of oil. It puts off a scent. It's the same thing as if you have a dead shrimp on there. You got dead mullet. I mean, the fish don't think that those, dead shrimp are swimming around. They're smelling it, and they're having
a lot of people use it to tip their jigs, man.
Yeah, and they're just going to eat that.
A lot of tournament guys use it to tip their jigs, and I'm like, man.
I'll tell you the wildest thing I've seen these salt guys do, Paul, is when I was down there last year, and they're cutting the pieces of the
redfish butts.
The the sunglass things that you put your sunglasses on with.
Yeah.
Cutting little pieces of those off and running them through a piece of line with a treble hook behind them and a little cork in front and catching Spanish. Just boom, 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 popping that like a topwater with pieces of sunglass holders.
Them Spanish mackerel will eat anything that's flashing.
When they're in a feeding frenzy, yeah.
You can throw a bare hook.
Yeah.
If it's shiny enough, they'll hit it. And Jeff, there are like the king mackerel and stuff. If you're fishing offshore, you do not want to use shiny swivels, even something as small as a swivel when you're making rigs, because they'll come and hit the swivel
they'll come and eat
because it's shiny, and they'll cut it completely off. They are ruthless.
Hey, back to that fish bites thing, Drew. You know why I've never bought that stuff? Not because I feel like it's kind of cheating, but I feel like I won't be able to resist taking a bite out of it because it looks like that bubble gum. It looks like that bubble gum from a roll.
Fucking candy. Yeah.
It looks,
Just wait till it gets wet and you got to take that shit off your hook. That is the slimiest, nastiest.
I've never used it, man.
Yeah, it is horrible.
Does it get all over your hands and your shit be stinking?
Oh, yeah. It gets on your pants and Tide can't get that shit out. Like, it's disgusting. I don't know what it's made out of. But
so, Jeff, what it sounds like to me is the saltwater anglers are the rednecks of fish, the true rednecks of fishing. They just be taking whatever they got in their pockets and around their necks, throwing some hooks on it somehow. Like these are.
You need to send them some Captain Phil videos.
Yeah, I've been on the KBN site, and I don't know if we're the rednecks. I've seen some pictures on there. I don't know. I don't know if the salt guys are the real rednecks.
I tell you something else I see funny down there is these cats that are on the pier illegally with fishing line wrapped around a Bud Light can and running down there. Y'all do some stuff.
He changed the
that's
subject.
everywhere,
You see
man.
that?
Yeah, man. I got I don't know how long you plan on doing this, Paul, but I got a couple questions I had queued up for these guys.
Dude, look, this is Pass and Brews. We go until people
Goes
like,
all
I
night?
got to go.
This is where the trap starts, Chris. You
All right,
ready?
yeah, this is the
Here
trap.
it is.
Paul didn't know about this one.
Well, hey, I don't, but let me tell you something. I did forget to mention this in the pre-show. If you got to pee, don't sit there and hurt yourself. Just say, I got to go pee and go pee.
I got a Gatorade bottle over here. I don't get up, buddy.
That
I'm
works.
Here for the
That
long
works.
haul.
I drink a lot of water. All right, Jeff, I'm excited to see where this is going.
Yeah, I actually got a couple questions. I've been writing them on my notebook, which is a napkin that I have sitting right here. But
Where some of the best engineering takes place, buddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know which one I want to hit y'all with first. We'll go with the hard one first. So I saw the post. I think Drew made it, but it's something that I saw make the rounds in the bass fishing world too, and that is what happened with ACK. The first kayaks I ever owned, I didn't know anything about kayak fishing. Found their website, ordered a couple Wilderness Systems off ACK back in 2011. And it was a shock to me, number one, to see the Cat's Trail closed down, but then to see ACK get bought out or closed down or whatever happened there. And it seemed like Drew, maybe both of y'all, had an inside kind of some knowledge of what happened there. Do you guys want to expand on that or talk about that at all? Maybe you already have on your podcast. I don't know.
Drew, I don't think there's anything holding us back from being able to talk about it, right?
No, there's nothing holding us, but we can talk about it completely. So everything that we know, camping outdoor or Camping World was the umbrella top company who ended up purchasing ACK.
Well, they purchased.
They purchased Summit Sports.
Summit Sports, yeah.
So they completely purchased Summit Sports, which owns ACK, and they just completely dissolved away the company. They did not take on any of the debts that ACK may or may not have had.
They told everybody, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they fired everybody. They've taken a few products and they've taken over the warehouse, and that is basically all they took. And the name. They took the name ACK, so no one else could have the ACK name.
Wow. Just like a thief in the night, just come in and shut it down.
Well, this guy
shut it down
has
quickly.
This guy has he's known for doing this.
Okay.
His name's Marcus Lemonis. He is the CEO of Camping World. They
They did the same thing to Gander Mountain too.
Corporate raiders.
Yep.
Corporate raiders is what they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's crazy is the guy is 100% hypocritical, because he's talking about, he's always talking about how he wants to grow, small business. ACK was not a big business. ACK was small business, man. They had 46 employees. To walk in there and shut the doors on 46 employees, people that were feeding their families, that was their line of income. And just honestly, he tried to hire a few of them back.
For a temp agency.
Yeah, through a temp agency at like $10 an hour.
To help them load up the equipment and stuff.
To help them load up load up your life into this truck so I can take it away from you.
Yeah, and they were only given 2 days notice. That's the really shitty thing.
Ooh.
Wow.
2 days. Like,
damn.
hey, guys, you're no longer going to be employed in 2 days. And the guys at the store are really the ones that I feel for. I mean, I know some of the higher ups there that we know, marketer, general manager, and things like that. They're gonna land on their feet. But those store associates, man, those are the ones that I really feel for. The ones that were,
especially
helping
the ones that
you when you went in.
There's a lot of them that when they cut, they bled outdoors.
Yep.
Andy Bolin, for instance, that dude, I mean, he lived a life of kayaking, fishing, and outdoors, just like a lot of us do. But I mean, some of us have careers that we've built alongside with our outdoors career. So,
What? I guess I don't understand the reason for that. I mean, it didn't like they were buying Bass Pro and taking the credit card profits and doing. I mean, if they're buying a 50-man operation,
well,
that obviously turned over a lot of kayaks and other outdoor.
This
gear,
is how I put it to my wife, Jeff. I have a car. Okay, I bought this car brand new. I spent $50,000 on it, and I used the shit out of it. Now it's got 200,000 miles on it, and I don't feel like it's worth a penny. But I can sell it to this guy for $500. And this guy sees $2,000 worth of value in that car because he can take it apart and sell its bits and pieces. And that's exactly what this fella did. Was he just took all the parts and he's liquidated it, right?
So he didn't buy a business. He bought
the name.
Yeah, he wasn't worried about
Right.
the cash flow. He was just trying to flip
Yeah.
a quick profit on
Right.
the pieces.
The pieces,
Yeah.
the stock that they had, and he bought the name so nobody else can use it.
What's crazy though is ACK being the, like you said, Jeff, you know, when you first started kayaking, you like bought these kayaks straight off the internet because you went onto the internet, did some research, and here comes Austin Canoe and Kayak as like the #1 search site in Google or whatever.
Yeah.
An algorithm brought you to that site. During the height of COVID, when everybody got locked down, they were considered an essential part of the economy, and they were able to stay open and still sell their product. They sold out of freaking everything, bro. Everything. So those leeches, the corporate leeches, saw that opportunity and started just sucking up all that money that they were generating and not paying all the people that they owed on the ACK side. So it made matters even worse. Whenever they got sold, they had a shitload of debt.
Wow. Terrible, man. Well, that's terrible for the people that work there, terrible for the people that, you know, were loyal to that business as customers. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, with all that being said, though, wait for the next few episodes of Paddler's Playbook and see who is going to come aboard as the new title sponsor. And, we got some big news probably coming in the next few weeks.
Hey,
Right.
you can break it tonight on Bass and Brews if you're ready.
We're still closing that
We're still
contract.
negotiating and stuff, so we can't yet, but we will be here very soon.
Damn,
Yeah.
Jeff, we should have sent them some Western Sun vodka.
I know.
We might have got it out of them. by the
Hey,
end of
send
the
me
night.
some of that watermelon, and I will drink it, buddy.
Gotcha.
Actually, Drew is looking for an alcohol sponsor for the show.
Yeah.
Dude,
Drew and I have
that
been trading
Western-
some DMs lately about all
We
that.
have. You guys have been talking shit about us, and me and Jeff have been talking about y'all. So,
Well, Hope, I ain't been talking shit about nobody.
well, you're talking to Chris, so you're associated.
I've joined that realm.
That's it.
What
Yeah.
else you
All right.
got for us, Mister?
So, Jeff, what was the other one, dog?
Oh, well, the other one's a little easier, which is, you know, we're all podcasters here, doing our thing, talking about the sport we love from different points of view and stuff. But where do y'all see it going in the future? Because it seems like it's almost like YouTube was back in the day. Everybody started a YouTube channel. Nobody stuck with it. So there's people popping up with podcasts right and left anymore. Everybody's got a podcast about something. But, you know, are you going to be in for the long game and stick with it and stick around? So, you know, you guys have been in it a while. Ryan and I have been doing it a while. How many do you see hanging on? Or is it just going to be one of those things where a few hang on and you just keep seeing people come and go?
There are some really horrible podcasts out there,
Yeah.
by the way. We listen to a lot of them. And the reason why we listen to a lot of them is because we want to go ahead and gauge ourselves, right? We want to go ahead and gauge, you know, and we're not listed at the top, guys. We're like, if you go do a search on top kayak fishing podcast, we're probably like barely making the top 20.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know why that algorithm
I
is.
don't know how
because
they get their numbers.
I don't know
I don't
how
even know
they get
I don't
those-
even know how to search for that. So you'll have to tell me that.
Just search top kayak fishing podcast and see what
Well,
comes up.
Let me throw some numbers at you that Drew dropped on me the other day that really floored me. We had 2,000 downloads in 3 days.
Yeah, we had a really good 3 days. We had a really good 3 days.
But we're surfing right around 5,000 a month.
yeah,
There's not a lot of podcasts out there that have 5,000 downloads a month.
well, in the niche that we're in,
Yeah.
niche that we're in, for
Especially
sure.
in the niche that we're in. Yeah. Oh yeah,
People
there's guys
forget.
out there that get 100,000 downloads. I mean,
Yeah, people forget that we're a niche of a niche of a niche. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, we're down the rung a little bit, and that's why I like, you know, I pat ourselves on the back, I pat y'all on the back, anybody that does a podcast, because really, we're the mouthpiece for the sport. There's kayak fishing isn't going to be on SportsCenter or on ESPN 6 or anything like that. The Ocho. We're the ones out there spreading the word, spreading the gospel of kayak fishing. So yeah, I mean, hats off to you guys and to everybody doing it and doing it the right way and sticking to it.
I think more people will get into it, but me and Chris honestly started our show as a creative outlet, as a way just to BS.
Because we suck at YouTube.
Yeah, we suck at YouTube.
We suck at social media.
Yeah, everything. We suck
I'm constantly
at that.
shutting down my Facebook saying, this crap.
And I think everybody wants to, as they get a little older, they want to have a hobby of something that they can create, something that they can put out, whether it's cooking or, you know, I do rod building or making baits or, you know, there's all kinds of different stuff. And this was going to be our creative avenue. This is how we were going to put something forth to everybody else. And I think as long as that is why you're doing it, that's why you have a podcast for you. You don't have a podcast for everybody else. Now, of course, you want to consider what your listeners want to hear when formulating your podcast, but you want to do the podcast for you. And I caught myself, me and my son do a podcast. He's 12, and we do a wrestling podcast because he loves wrestling. Just loves it. Now, of course, for his, you know, we may have 8 people on the Facebook Live commenting in, and when we put a Spotify, like 30 downloads is like a lot of downloads. And I caught myself because I can get caught up in the numbers sometimes because I also deal with our sponsors. So I want to keep our sponsors happy because, like I said at the very beginning of the show, I really do like free stuff. That's why I want to keep our sponsors happy. But I was talking to him, and he wanted to do this like hour-long match. And I'm like, son, we lose 90% of our 8 listeners after like 30 minutes of the show. And I was like, do we really need to do a really long episode? And he stopped me, and he goes, Dad. I said, yeah. He goes, but do you think we'll enjoy the match? And I said, yes. And he said, do you think we'll have fun doing it? And I said, you are completely right, son. We're gonna do that. But and he had to kind of put me in check because, you know, I do it for him, but he's doing it for the right reasons. He's doing it as his creative outlet. He doesn't care how many people are listening or watching. And I think if you can do a podcast as your way of, you know, just sharing yourself and sharing your knowledge with other people, you'll be successful in it and you'll keep doing it. And the key to a successful podcast is getting past that 10 episodes that most podcasts fail. 10 to 12 episodes, that's all they do. If you go back and look at some that you've listened to in the past and you're like, when have they done their last episode? They usually have about 10 or 12. That's it. But if you can get past that, then it just becomes fun. It becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of your daily life, and then it becomes easier and easier to do. So I think that, Jeff, we'll have more people put out podcasts, but if they're not in it for the right reasons, you're going to get 10, 15 episodes, and that's going to be it, and they're going to move on to something else. If they're trying to be the complete authority and get on the Old Town team from their podcast and stuff like that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work unless you enjoy doing it and you're doing it for the right reasons.
Drew,
I see a lot of.
This is the only time that I get to talk to real people.
Yeah,
because I'm literally a prisoner of my home. If somebody wants to come break me out, come break me out.
Man. You got an ankle bracelet on or what? What you got?
Locked. Dude, my job said don't come back to the office 2 years ago, and I haven't been
Damn.
back since. And
Yeah, I tell
all
them
I
work a
do
lot,
is
man. It's brutal.
But I would love to see more good kayak fishing podcasts, Jeff, or just good fishing podcasts. I mean,
So-
a lot of them get really, really repetitive. It's the same three guys talking about their last trip and inside jokes and everything else, and you don't have any idea what they're talking about. It's just like,
Yeah.
I want to learn something.
Jeff, answer your question for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Drew there. There's going to be a lot more come and go, and it's just like he said, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube channel or Instagram or whatever the heck you're doing, it's pretty obvious when you try to insert yourself into something and pretend to be in the know or part of the sport or subject matter expert or whatever the case may be. If it's not organic, you're probably going to fade away pretty quick or get exposed pretty quick, then fade away. So, yeah, there'll be a lot more come and go, and there'll be some really, really good ones come, and stick around, and there'll be some really bad ones just kind of flame in and flame out too. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see where it goes. I think it's a good thing because, like I said, when I asked the question, we're not catching the media attention yet, and I'm talking from the bass boat world. We talk about, the next level of our sport is catching live coverage and getting all this media exposure. I think we're a long way from that. So right now, YouTubers and podcasters and all this kind of stuff, that is our media outlet. So we need to make the best of it.
I think podcasting is the new. It's the new. It's not new, but it's gonna be the YouTube of 5-10 years from now. Because it's gonna cycle. It's gonna cycle from.
Yeah.
Radio
I don't think it's
to
as easy to
video.
monetize though.
I tell you what, I think over time it will be, because I don't think people understand the retention of a podcast. Like, a lot of guys will turn on a YouTube video and watch it for 2 minutes and then scroll it to the end and get the hell out of there. But you turn on a podcast and put it in your pocket or put it on when you're in your car,
Yeah, exactly.
you'll catch that whole hour.
Can't
or
watch
whatever.
a YouTube video while you're in the car driving down the
Well,
road.
yeah. But you turn on that audio, boy. Don't listen to that audio. You don't drop people.
And so here's the thing too. Like, I love coming on KBN Live on Mondays. I love it. I want to. I mean, I showed up one day in a shirtless and a Donald Duck hat.
I remember that. It's burned into my brain.
Yeah. So, but I love it, but I don't do it, one, because they start late as fuck, and I go to bed early because they're an hour behind. But the other reason is I drive a lot, and so I want to listen to KBN. I want to listen to it then. Like, I don't listen to the podcast that I really don't like when I'm out driving. Like, I listen to those when I've caught up on everything. I have nothing else to listen to. I go to those. So that's the thing with the YouTube and the live side of the podcasting is you got to have both. I believe you got to have both, the video and the audio. But the ones that I like the most, I don't do the live. I listen to them on the podcast platform on purpose.
Yeah,
And
Bass
so-
Talk Live. That was my inspiration. Bass Talk Live. I rarely watch the video. It's always the entire audio, episode.
I think that comes with maturity too. Like, as you start to mature in your taste, your attention span is also a little bit more. So you're able to sit there and digest a podcast, whereas a lot of the YouTube videos, it's like 15 seconds, bam, change frame, bam, something else. Bam, it's so damn in your face. Yeah, it's so in your face. It's great for getting pumped up before you're going to a tournament or something, but I don't need that much damn drama in my life from watching somebody catch a fish. Like, I got enough shit going on. I'd rather have a sexy, sultry voice like Chris talking to me about popping corks. You know what I mean? Like, I need something that's gonna mellow me out.
I know exactly what episode Drew is talking about, man. That YouTube episode that we both watched. We watched it at the same time going, what is this fool doing?
Wasn't mine, was it?
Oh, no.
What episode was it? What we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking
this
about
is just
this guy's. He's trying to be. he's new to the YouTube game, and he's following in the steps of another.
Dude's got a great personality.
He
man.
does, great personality, but he's dealing with a guy that has a very bad name along the Texas coast because of his Patreon account and selling spots from his Patreon account and things like that. And he's following this guy around, and he was trying to catch a redfish on the lightest line that he could with the smallest lures.
I remember y'all talked about
we
this.
talked about it in the episode, and he's literally
it's made for TV action.
Yeah, he's got an Outback,
dramatic,
and he's got I don't know what mount it is, but dead in front of him, he's got a camera sitting 3 foot up above the kayak. Like, it couldn't be in the way more than where it's at. Like, he is totally set up for just creating content rather than catching fish and making content out of the fish catching. He's setting up just for content, and it irks the hell out of me.
The question was like, what do you do whenever you hook into a huge redfish on a tiny boat? And I'm like, my Outback and
not
myself,
what the fuck he was doing. That ain't what you do.
I'm geared up to land a 28-inch redfish within 60 seconds.
And so that's what y'all talked about too, was the health of the fish, the way that he was fishing.
Yeah.
The health of the fish was bad, but give him props for not giving us fucking crotch shot.
What? Hey, was the thumbnail like
Screw
this?
Yeah, with the big ass caption down at the bottom and stuff like that, and bright colors, and it's just that I've matured enough in my viewing and listening that I don't need the ADD type of YouTube that's going on right now, where it's like kung pow, bam, boom, blah. It's like comic book videos is what I call it. It's just, bam, 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 bam. Here's the end, and it's done. I can't do it. So that's why I think as people who are more technologically advanced, like we're probably all in our late 30s, early 40s.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm 2 steps from the home.
I told y'all I brought the OG on as the guest
Jeff,
co-host.
how old are you, Jeff?
48 years old, man.
I mean, that's young enough. I mean, you know how to work a damn computer and check an email. But
I've lived a hard life, Drew.
What I'm saying is, the more that people are used to
How old are
using
your kids,
technology.
Jeff?
My kids are probably y'all's age. Shit, 25, 27.
Not mine. I'm 40. Look,
I'm
here's
about
the
to be
thing.
a grandpa, son. My son's got to have a baby.
Yeah.
Damn.
Drew's right alongside of that.
Yeah.
I'm the young one of the group. all
Look,
the time.
Jeff don't look a day over fucking 30. When I heard he was 50, I thought they were picking on his ass.
Hey,
I'm
he's
like,
40.
dude,
He's 48. He ain't 50 yet. Damn.
but close enough at that point in time.
I can see the light.
It's blinking. All right, I've got a question that fits into the podcast too, because all 4 of us, even though Jeff and me are missing our compadres, we all do a podcast with as co-hosts, right? We both have that other person, and so Alex brought me on. It was just him, and things got easier. Like I think Jeff and I have talked about this before. Is sometimes you get that guest that is just not very good on camera or interviewing. And so how is it, and Jeff, I want you to answer this too, like how is the dynamic that you two have doing your podcast, like is it because of you two together that you make it successful, or that you make it work? Like, could you do it individually?
I'm going to answer for you first, Paul, because they're
Go
thinking
ahead.
about it.
I would, because you said Jeff. How do you?
Yeah, okay. I thought he said
No,
both
it's
of
for
y'all.
all of you. It's for
yeah.
all of you, but
I
I
thought he
wanted
said
Jeff to
Jeff.
answer as well.
Okay.
I thought
but
he said Jeff. My
anyway, I've hosted episodes solo, and it's weird because I think, for example, and you guys are the same way. You got a yin and yang, or yin and yang, whatever you want to call that, where you're both have good personalities, but they're different, and they work together. I mean, one of the keys to this deal is you got to have good chemistry. And Lambert and I have good chemistry, I think, on the lives and on our podcast, because we're both, different personalities. You know, we're kind of one is more the color guy, and I'm more the Mike Breen NBA announcer guy. But we pull it off. You got to have that yin and yang, especially when you're dealing with guests that you cannot get an answer out of. You know, everything's a yes or no answer, or one sentence answer. Nope. You know, how did you just win the biggest championship of your lifetime? Well, I caught him pretty good today. It's like, we got an hour, man. We got an hour to talk.
I threw a Texas rig, and got him in the boat. But it's different too with y'all, Jeff, because you're doing tournament anglers. Yeah. Like me and Alex, we focus on people who are creating content, so they typically already have that.
Sure, yeah. And Ryan and I, we're in the arena too, so we kind of have know what we're talking about, but you don't realize, and that's really you can do a whole other show about how poor kayak bass fishermen are at promoting themselves. And I don't even mean, I'm not slamming them. I'm just saying they don't know any better. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's literally practicing public speaking and how to talk on camera, how to create content, whatever it is. People don't take that account. They just think, well, I want a tournament. Where are the sponsors at? Hook me up. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. Mm-hmm. Especially the speaking. I've seen a lot of guys, and you know how when you get embarrassed for somebody, you get hot. You start feeling hot. Like they get on stage after winning a tournament and they get ready to do an interview, and you can just tell they are frozen to death. They don't know what to do. So
this shit up.
Yeah, and I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying it's something a lot of folks need to work on and get better at.
Agreed.
Anyway, yeah.
I think with me and Chris, a lot of the chemistry comes from we've been friends and in multiple Facebook chats and group chats and everything with each other.
We've almost gotten into bar fights together.
Yeah,
man.
like 10, 12 years. Like we've known
at the Dirty Blind Pelican.
This was at Johnny B. Dalton's.
Johnny B. Dalton.
Johnny B. Dalton's. I ain't been there since.
You ain't allowed back since, or you ain't been there since?
I ain't been there since.
Okay.
I quit drinking after that.
So that's funny too, because I've never met Alex in person. We've met strictly through Instagram and doing this podcast. And Jeff, you and Ryan have met twice?
We've hung out a lot since the show started, but we weren't buddies at first. Yeah. No, we'd been around each other at a tournament one time, So
this was created because every week Drew was like, Chris, why don't we do this? Chris, why don't we do this? Hey, Chris, how can we do this? Look, man, we've for years, it's been a thing where we've just trying to find our way. Where do we fit in the market? Because we do love the market so much, and we love the outdoors and fishing and kayaking, but more importantly, we kind of love people.
Yeah,
and we kind of enjoy people.
We like asking questions too. Like we're inquisitive by nature. Like we want to know. We want to get to know people.
And bringing it back to what you were asking about, how things work between the partners of the podcast, whether or not I could do it by myself. Absolutely not.
Hell no. He don't even read what I give him for everything.
And when I try to now, I do the introductions for folks, and all I do is I'll take like a couple of really quick tidbits about who that person is, and then I make up everything in between. And
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know if y'all listened to our last episode
with Jay Whalen.
When he was introducing Jay Whalen, you see how he blamed the typo and shit on me?
I tried to read that shit verbatim, and I was like, why did I even do that?
He didn't even read the introduction before he was going to do it. That's the first time he pulled out his phone to read that, or he would have saw that there was a missing word and there wasn't an S on the end of that. That's the first time he saw it.
Fuck it. This man is 9-time world champion. Who your mama judges?
Jesus Christ. He don't read nothing. One of us has got to be a little bit organized with it, and it ain't Chris.
The thing is, I am a fisherman.
Hey, if you were both the same, it wouldn't work. That's how it goes.
It would be horrible. It would be a horrible show.
Yeah, let me tell y'all about this podcast and the difference in Alex and me. We've been doing this an hour and 24 minutes. Alex right now would be trying to oh shit, it's fucking, we got to go. I got episodes been 2.5 hours long.
Oh yeah.
Well,
See, that's
we
me,
ain't gonna
Paul.
do 2.5 hours tonight.
Yeah,
man.
that's
I
me,
still
Paul.
haven't
I'm
eaten
Alex.
dinner.
I'm the one always cutting us off.
Yeah. So, but that's like I just roll with the conversation, and Alex would be texting me like, "Look, man, my wife is pissed. We got to be done. It's been an hour and 15 minutes." But that's the thing is we're able to blend it all together because he reins our shit in. I ain't good at that. And matter of fact, we got to do that shit right now because we got to get these questions out the way. But but and I brought that up because I love doing this, and I'm kind of doing it by myself now. I got these guest co-hosts. I've had some episodes where it was just me, but to think about doing this like for the foreseeable future as we go along, hell no. Like having that other person, it just makes it easier. And I think that you don't have bad episodes when you can always take your partner or your co-host and y'all can fix and you can fill in where you need to fill in.
Hey, can y'all imagine doing like the Bass Talk Live and doing it 4-5 days a week sometimes? Like,
Nope.
Trying to put that out every day. I mean, you talk about
Nope.
work. That's
Who
insane.
does that?
Man.
You do that?
No, the Bass Talk Live guys.
Bass Talk Live.
It'd be so monotonous.
Is
Like,
there
I
enough?
couldn't do
Is
it.
there enough material to cover?
They do it. They
for
do a
those
great job.
guys, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
For those guys, yeah. I mean, of course, it's just Matt now. I mean,
Drew, you want to try it?
No.
We
But
could do it
they've
on
been
our way
doing
to
it.
work every
Yeah.
morning. Wait, I
Nope.
don't have to
Morning
go to work.
drive.
Nope. I don't talk to anybody for 2 hours after I'm awake.
All right, Jeff, you got anything else there, Hoss? You got anything
No,
else
man,
before
no,
we
I'm
start
sorry.
getting to these?
My napkin is full. It's done.
Don't be sorry, y'all. I'll go again. I'll go until people are like I got to get off, Paul. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's finish up. But anyway,
That sounded terrible, dude. I said my napkin is full. What does that even?
I don't know. I guess I don't.
Your
know.
sanitary
You
napkin?
tell us.
Okay.
Oh shit! Oh hell! Yeah, it's getting off the. This is when it gets good. Why should we stop now? We just had a sanitation napkin reference. Why do we need to stop now? All right.
Keep it going. Keep it rolling.
So with Bass and Brews, we got some shotgun questions, as they like to call them, and they're questions you need to answer pretty quickly when we ask. I want both of y'all to answer individually. I don't care who goes first or whatever, just first one that comes to it. But this could make or break your podcast. We've had some folks answer questions on here very poorly, and 3 episodes later, their podcast they quit. So
All right, hold on. Are these short, quick answers or long, drawn-out answers that go into some shit that nobody's even talking about? Because we need to clarify for Chris.
you answer the question as Mr. Stale Cracker says. You answer the question the way you like.
All right. So you got time on these questions then. All right, Chris.
Good.
It's up to you. But if you answer wrong, I'm gonna give you shit. Crocs or flip flops?
Ooh, slides. Neither one.
The fuck
slides.
is a slide?
That's some saltwater
Bedroom
stuff, man.
slippers?
No,
They
some
are
slides.
They are rubber slippers, sir.
Yeah.
That's some golfer stuff.
The ones
right
that
there.
just have the ones that just have one strap, big wide strap that go across the.
They were
the
created
top
for
of them.
soccer players because
Yeah.
soccer players wore cleats that you
Yeah.
couldn't wear down by walking across the concrete.
That's
Yeah.
hoopers and golfers and soccer players be wearing them.
Yeah, I wore them during baseball all the time. So slides.
That wasn't a fucking choice.
You said I could answer it however the fuck I wanted to. Chris, your turn. Go.
I've never owned a pair of Crocs in my whole life, and I only recently, right before COVID, bought my very first pair of flip flops. And
COVID was 3 years ago, Holmes.
I know. And since then,
Said recently.
I have been wearing them flip flops out, bro. I'd hardly take them off, even whenever my wife will catch me outside.
Y'all see what I'm talking about with the long ass answer? Keep on going. Keep
My
on
wife
going.
will catch me outside in 50-degree weather with a hoodie, some shorts, and some damn flip flops.
Cash me outside with my flip
He
flops.
said,
Cash
Crocs
me
or flops.
outside.
Well, my wife once saw me out.
Exactly.
Look, this is why me
I'm
and
a
Chris,
storyteller, man. I'm a storyteller. I can't
Dude,
just simply
me and
answer a
Chris
question.
could never do a podcast without somebody to like rein this shit, we would be doing 24-hour podcasts every time. That's how.
Yep.
I get it. All right, pineapple on pizza. This is fucking easy, y'all. Pineapple on pizza.
Ooh, when you first
yes
say
or no?
pineapple, it's like there's
No.
a problem right there.
Yes or no?
No.
Oh fuck yeah, pineapple on everything. Pineapple on your ass.
Oh Lord. Is that why the fucking pineapple's got a ring in the middle?
That's
Is that why when you get them little rings?
Paul,
Pass. Can we
there-
pass? Pass.
is there a rule about the last 2 minutes or no? Good with anything.
The first 2 minutes is what Alex told me.
All right.
I mean, if y'all ain't listening to this podcast, you know after the first 2 minutes, the shit just goes where it goes. All right. This is usually with bass anglers, I know this answer. But for y'all, I'm interested. You going to spend more on a reel or a rod?
I'm spending more on a reel because I make my own rods. But
Oh, shit. We forgot to talk about that. We're going to talk about that at the end. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
I have a rod sponsor, so I'm spending more on my reels.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Is
You
your
should
rod
get 3
sponsor
rods.
Drew?
My rod sponsor is not Drew.
no, it's not
Although-
me.
Although Drew
I'm
has
too
made
broke
one
for that shit. I'm not sponsoring him. I've given him one rod though. I've given him one.
Well, you gave it to my daughter.
I mean, it's the same thing. I didn't want to say. Never mind. I'm leaving that the fuck alone. Leaving that alone completely.
Oh, Lord.
She doesn't
You know
have a
you-
rod sponsor.
You know you're
She
good
does
friends.
now. I'm her rod sponsor. So there she
You
goes.
know you're good friends when you give each other a rod.
There you go.
Oh,
All right. In a 3, and I don't know how y'all going. I don't know if this translates, but you tell us how this translates to redfish. So for bass anglers, we say in a 3-hour session, would you rather catch 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder? What would that correlate to in redfish? And then answer the question.
I'm sorry. 2 what?
5 2-pounders in a 3-hour session of fishing. Would you rather catch 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
So
That'd be like five
lower
slots?
slot. Yeah, five lower slot and one Haas 27-inch.
I have no idea what the fuck
Look,
that means.
my-
Okay.
I have gone a whole day of fishing, and that one redfish made my whole entire trip. It was the best day of my life because that redfish was 27 3/4. You know that I can catch slots all day long, and yeah, I get all giggly, you know, from catching because I get to fool them. You know, that's what it is. Sorry, here goes the story again, right? I get to fool them. It's all about the fooling the fish into eating that shit. I
You
get
tell your
giggly
story. Fuck
after
those guys.
I get giggly after catching 20 fucking fish.
Yeah.
But if I have that day where it's just one solid, one just monster redfish, I'm talking about that one for a while.
Mm-hmm. You going home and trying to make babies when you get to the house.
With pineapple and stuff.
Look, I'm just, you know, I look.
No,
All right.
I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, man, I can practice, but I ain't making them.
non-tournament day, I'm going for the 5. I'm going for 5 lower slot. Tournament day, give me the 1 or 2 big fish every time.
And see, that's usually opposite with bass anglers. The tournament guys will say, I want the 5 on the tournament day. And if I'm just out fun fishing, I want the 7-pounder.
Well, I mean, but a small, like 4 or 5 pound redfish fights like a 7, 8, 9 pound bass. So
That's why I don't know how this correlates to y'all, because y'all the first time we ever had somebody on here that didn't fish freshwater. So the next one, I don't even know if y'all can even answer this. You might not know what I'm talking about. You got a wacky rig or a Texas rig?
ooh, where am I at? What am I doing? What am I trying to accomplish?
Hold on, I got to Google.
You're on the
Texas
oil
rig
rigs.
and wacky.
the oil.
You're on the rigs.
I'm on the rigs.
You fishing docks. You're fishing docks with lights at night. Didn't y'all do an episode about fishing docks with lights at night?
I do a little bit of bass fishing though, so I'm gonna give you
Okay.
the bass answer. I would rather throw a Texas rig because it's weedless, and you can try to rig a wacky worm up a little weedless if you want. I've never had a lot of confidence in anything a wacky worm. But a Texas rig, with me not fishing bass very much, that's the first thing that I throw out there and I use. And I'm the most accurate with a Texas rigged worm as well. I mean, I can put it where I want it, close to that dock or under the tree or something like that. Now with the wacky worm, I'm not as accurate at all. I'm not putting it where I want it. Chris?
That's what she said.
So y'all are talking bass fishing with the terminology wacky and Texas rig. And
do you want to hook it at the top or in the middle? Just tell us that. You want to hook it at the top or in the middle?
yeah,
Thank you, Drew. Thank you.
but
In the butt.
if I was
In the butt with pineapple.
if I was bass fishing, okay, I think I'd want to use a wacky rig because I did help a little bit with a man's product that came out a while back, and it was a worm that had a little spring mechanism inside of it, and that son of a bitch just wiggled like a son of a bitch.
Went like
Just
this.
Was it a man, MANN or MAN?
MANN. Yeah, I worked on their saltwater side for a little while.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
But the wacky rig, I do understand it hooks in the middle, and basically that worm is gonna
Other way. The middle ain't moving. The outside's moving.
That's what I'm
Heck
trying
no.
to do. Okay.
What?
I'm
Move
trying
your
to-
fucking elbows. Not
No, fly, bitch. Fly.
yeah, exactly.
Man,
But
alive.
I think I'd have fun with that because you kind of are you kind of jigging it up and down like on the bottom, and then you get that hit, and it's like bam, and then
No, you let
Paul.
it, you throw it down. Go ahead. What, Jeff?
This,
how you do
this
it? How you
dude,
do
this
it?
dude definitely wearing Crocs after all that commotion.
By the way, if I am bass fishing, I am only using crankbaits, topwaters, and frogs. Man, fuck worms.
Because he ain't got no gear to throw a worm, is what it sounds like. Damn,
I have
Drew, you
zero
are
worms.
bald as fuck. Damn. I thought Chris was picking on you. Holy
Oh no,
shit.
it's really bald. It's freshly shaved too. Freshly shaved.
He's like Professor fucking X off of X-Men, man. That son of a bitch there.
You know something I was gonna do on KBN, Paul? I thought would be funny, but I haven't done
Go
it
ahead.
yet.
Yeah.
Is a challenge, just a fun game where a dude posts a picture of himself in a hat, and then everybody has to guess bald or not, because we're like baseball players, man. You never see them without a hat. You don't know what's under there.
Yeah.
So we can
Well,
get
it's
a pretty
like
good.
football players. You know, football
Yeah.
players, you never know what's under there until they take that shit off.
Yeah, we could have a
I
good
like
thread with
that.
that.
No,
I
because
like
the
it.
football
Yeah.
players want to have like the tarantula effect coming out of their damn helmet.
Yeah. We got some kayak anglers like that too. You seen Jordan Marshall? That thing sticking out of there.
Oh, man, did y'all see Jordan brush the perm out?
Yeah, his woman got him twisted.
Woo.
Got him flat iron and a mullet. That ain't good.
I know, man. All right, so y'all can answer this one easy. All right, because it don't discriminate against saltwater anglers. Slow jams or hype music when you're fishing or on the way to the ramp, whatever it is. Slow jams or hype music.
I'm listening to some ghetto ass shit, honestly, on the way to fishing, because Houston, I'm listening to old school H-Town rap to get me hyped up. But it's kind of slow. Like if you go back to 2000s H-Town rap, it's slowed down, screwed, chopped up, like. But while I'm fishing, I'm listening to like reggae rock, if that makes sense, like Sublime with Rome and Ballyhoo and things like that. While I'm fishing, more mellow and calm stuff. I'm not trying I'm not trying to get hype while I'm fishing.
So on the way to the ramp, you play music that if the crackheads are still there, you can fend them off. But when you get on the water, you want to be taken back and fished.
They're trying to sell me some bootleg Abu Garcia at the gas station when they hear me come up bumping in the F-150. Chris, you.
Dude, I listen to country music, and so I'm not going to be hyping it up, nor I guess I'm going to be sad because my dog done left, my woman done run off, my truck won't start.
See, and that's completely different. I'm at the rap slapping hoes and selling crack. Like I'm hyped up. I'm ready to go.
Now,
We're rolling on Twankies.
Honestly, man, I'm a
Chris's
big
mama
Texas,
got run over by a train at the ramp.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a
Exactly.
big Texas country fan. I don't know if y'all are Texas country fans or
Oh,
not. But
hell yes.
yeah, I'm a big Texas country fan, so I'm listening to a lot of Kojo stuff like that on the way. But honestly, on the way, no, I'm listening to podcasts. I always listen to podcasts before I go to a fishing spot, and before a tournament, whatever. On the way home, that's when I crank it up, and it's usually Texas country. If there's other instances in this life where I need to hype myself up, and it's going to be freaking dubstep if I need to get hype.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so this next one, I'm interested to hear from. Are you eating largemouth bass? Yes or no?
I have.
No, not you have. If you go fishing in your cousin's pond and y'all catch a mess of largemouth, are you going to take them home and fry them up? Yes or no?
I'm pretty much catch and release on everything.
No, I'm not eating it, but it's not because of any higher standard that I keep myself or even about the fishery or anything like that. I'm just not a huge fish eater. If I'm eating fish, it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be crappie, it's going to be flounder, or it's going to be redfish. And I'll keep a bunch of white bass when the white bass run is on. So when people ask me for fish in the freezer, I give them all the white bass. Because I'm not giving them my flounder or my crappie or my redfish. So
I give them all my trout.
yeah, I'll
I'm
give
like,
them
here you
trout,
go.
too. I'll give them
Roaches
trout,
of the
too.
sea. Take them.
Yeah.
Now,
Jeff, I can't
offshore-
remember. Were you eating largemouth or not? How did you answer that one? Look, he done got his shit on mute.
Say it again. Sorry, man.
I said I couldn't remember if you were eating largemouth or not.
Yeah, I think it's important to cull them suckers out, especially lakes that are overpopulated. Yeah, you need to leave them trophy size fish alone, but the little ones need to go, man. The little ones need to go.
14 inches and below need to get 8. All right,
Now, wait a
this
minute.
is
Whoa. I'm in Arkansas. 14s are beggins over here in Beaver Lake, but the 12s, get them 12s out.
So
All right,
do
guys.
I need to start keeping them? Is that going to be better for the fishery? Is that going to make the glitter boat guys happy?
Not the biggins, just them little
Okay,
runts.
just the little ones. All right, got it.
But just be prepared that there's some people out there that don't think largemouth should be eaten, even though largemouth only were in the... Anyway, I ain't going to get into it.
They're a
Y'all
sport
can get
fish,
y'all-
man. You're not going to be able to fit into the social climate.
All right, this next question, this is what we're known for. This is what makes or breaks your career in whatever your career is. It could be fishing or what you do for a real job. This is an important question, and you got to answer this shit right. We've had some really bad answers before. One of them was pretty famous, and he said a really bad answer, and I never let him live it down. So anyway, as anglers, we love sandwiches. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Ooh, can it all be on one sandwich?
Just top 3 sandwich proteins. You can put it on one sandwich. You can eat it in a lettuce wrap. It don't matter. Top 3 sandwich proteins.
Is a lettuce wrap a sandwich though?
Well,
Like,
I
are we
mean,
calling
it
that a
is.
No, I'm fucking with
I
you.
mean,
I'm fucking with you.
Drew's
it
going to
don't-
come up with some fucking wild shit that you can only get down
No.
in
If
like
we're-
the valley.
No. If
That's
we're
fine,
talking
dude.
about traditional sandwiches,
I'm over here. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm eating marshmallows. Man.
I see that.
he's eating cold s'mores.
What? Yeah. What? Who that's not 7 eats just a marshmallow? Like anyway.
Look, bitch, you drink enough and you got kids under the age of 10 and you go in that pantry and the only thing you see are giant marshmallows, you're going to eat at least 3 or 4 handfuls.
Jesus
I
Christ.
sneak in here every night and grab me one or two.
Top 3 sandwich proteins. There's no wrong answer unless it's wrong.
I have the first 2 in my head. The first 2 in my head are ham and bacon. And I'm going back and forth between roast beef, which I love me some roast beef. I'm going roast beef and like a Cajun turkey. I keep going back between those 2. Like a Cajun infused turkey they have at HEB, the grocery chain here. It's got kind of a spice to it, but I'm going back and forth between that.
Those are good. Those are safe. Bacon is not one that we get a lot, but that's a great one.
Dude,
all right,
bacon and Miracle Whip sandwich. Woo!
Ooh, Miracle Whip the fuck?
Woo! Miracle Whip and bacon, buddy.
Dukes.
You wouldn't, with my answer, you probably wouldn't think I'm from the South, but
My man gonna say tofu, isn't he?
Dude, Jeff, I'm thinking the same thing. He's about to say fucking tofu.
no, pastrami. I love pastrami, man.
Yeah.
Corned beef. Love corned beef. Good stuff. And then, like Drew had his little toss up. I got the basics, the basic toss up, which is smoked turkey or smoked ham.
Nice.
Those are the 2 that are like always available. But it's a special day when I get some pastrami or some corned beef, man.
I hear you. Well, we've had two in particular answers. One guy said cheese, and another guy said, what the hell? Shit, I forgot now.
Didn't the guy say? Yeah, he said spinach.
Spinach. Yeah. Well, it was Bailey from Serious Angler, and he's probably gonna listen to this. And be like, man, my fuck, let that shit die.
What kind
Bailey.
of protein cheese?
What
is
kind
that
of what kind of protein are you getting from spinach? Okay,
Spinach.
Popeye.
But he says you don't like spinach on your sandwich. I'm like, I love spinach on a sandwich,
But it's not a
But the
protein.
bitch has like roast beef or something on it. It ain't just.
Hey,
2 pieces
supply
of bread and some
chains tough in New York, Paul. They're sticking spinach on there for protein.
That's true. That's true.
That's the
they
shit I'm
dyed it
taking.
red.
That's the shit I'm taking off of my sandwich.
Shit, the spinach is up there, man. The spinach is the bread and the protein up there.
Hey, look,
That's all they got.
Right.
Drew invited me over for dinner one night, and he said, "Chris, we're gonna have steak. What else would you like to have?" And so I'm like, "Fucking spinach, broccoli." And he's like, "No, you're coming to my house. What would you like to have?"
Which means what kind of potatoes would you like with this steak? You want mashed potatoes, red potatoes, baked potatoes, au gratin potatoes? Like what,
That's
what
your
kind do you
vegetable.
want with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I was gonna say too, you have never heard of a recall on bacon, but you damn sure heard of it on spinach. They recall spinach for killing folks all the time.
Legionnaires
Spinach and
shit.
lettuce. Yeah.
That
Look,
shit
what's
kills you.
I got a real good friend of mine from Texas. He's Texican, is what he calls himself. So he's from Texas, and he'll tell you the only vegetables he eats is salsa.
That's true.
Like, that's it, literally he eats meat, and his vegetables come in the form of salsa. When we go to their house to hang out and eat and stuff, we have meat, hamburgers, all meat, and then salsa and chips. That's it. The only vegetables he eats is salsa.
That's corn and salsa. There you go. You
It's
got
crazy,
tomatoes
man.
and peppers and onions.
Corn is questionable as a
Cilantro.
vegetable.
Corn ain't a vegetable; it's a grain. By the way,
Even then, I don't know, man. That thing.
I don't know. Look, the older you get, the more corn comes out in your poop after you eat it. I mean, seriously.
I tell you what, you go to the grocery store and you go down the vegetable aisle, and there's gonna be corn. There ain't gonna be no grain aisle. You ain't gonna get grain. You're gonna find corn in the canned vegetables or in the vegetable section. That's
It's just
all
more
I'm
of that
gonna say.
propaganda, Drew. It's just propaganda, man. They're
Right.
sticking.
That's
Trying to
government
mess with
shit.
us.
That's government
Yep.
shit. All right, guys. So at the end of this, we always want you to be able to shout out, your sponsors, your partners, anybody that you just want to put out there is you want to highlight. This is your chance to do it now. And Jeff, at the end, also I know y'all got some folks new at KBN that we didn't talk about the last time. So Holla out your sponsors. What the fuck's going on, Chris? You okay? Can you hear?
Yeah, he's showing you his real sportswear hat.
Oh, okay. Shit, I'm colorblind, man. I didn't see it. My bad.
Yeah, we've been working.
Oh,
with
yes, nice.
Real sportswear since the middle of season 1. So they were one of the first sponsors that came aboard, and we're gonna stick with Real Sportswear. Andrew, it's a Corpus Christi company,
Texas-based,
Yeah,
small
and-
business.
and almost everything that me and him both wear whenever we're going out fishing is Real Sportswear gear. It's great gear. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's very different than your normal neutral fishing shirts. You know what I mean? They I know you said you were colorblind, but if you see my hat, it's 4 or 5 different color camo blues and things like that.
He said he was colorblind, but he said he could. He also said he couldn't see a fish. I don't know what colorblind has to do with not being able to see fish.
I mean, it's the different hues, I guess, but Real Sportswear has a different kind of design to a lot of their stuff. It's a lot more vibrant and more expressive
Than just your basic Columbia T-shirt.
Yeah,
But
your Columbia stuff.
One thing I'm extremely thankful for on the Real Sportswear side is this freaking hat. This one in particular, this exact hat that's on my head, because I sweat like a hooker in church, right? I mean, it's inevitable. I get outside, it's 50 degrees. I'm still gonna sweat, and especially in hats. And I've never been able to hold on to a black hat. You know why? Because that hat ends up with this huge sweat ring on it, and it just destroys the look of the hat. It'll never go away. This hat has never gotten a sweat ring in, ever, never, ever.
Oh, I've heard about you. Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. That's pretty cool.
It is a foam hat, and basically the foamy hats are not going to sweat through, but any foamy hat. But this one is probably the best one that I've ever had. So, yeah, Real Sportswear is, besides making awesome hats, they make really killer T-shirts, recycled product in their T-shirts, which is cool, saving our oceans. And this next year, their catalog is going to be off the freaking chain.
Oh, it's
gonna
awesome.
It's going to be lit. So they're going to have some really great products released this season. So look out for some of that coming across your screen.
Yeah, and another one that's staying aboard is Pure Fishing. And for those of you that don't know, Pure Fishing is an umbrella company. Abu Garcia, Penn, Berkeley. What's the new one they brought on? Gray's Fly Fishing.
So
Hardy.
Yeah. Well, Gray's is a division of Hardy. It's owned by Hardy, but they're out of the UK. You know what's funny is I was talking to Chris Fowler, speaking of Chris Fowler owns a company called the Fly Trap, and we're bringing them on crap, that's letting the cat out of the bag right now. Yeah. So
I'll edit that out.
No, you ain't got to edit that out. Chris is a great guy. He's awesome to work with, and we're glad to bring him on. But anyway, I was like, hey man, haven't you ever worked with fly fishing or with Pure Fishing to try and get some of their fly gear in? He's like, man, I'd love to have Hardy, but they honestly, Pure Fishing wants you to make like a $20,000 purchase to be able to fill your store. And he's like, I just don't have that kind of coin. And I was like, man, I wish you could get some of this Gray's equipment. He goes, Chris, Gray's is for beginners. I was like, I've been fly fishing for at least 9 years, but I still consider myself a beginner because it is a literal art to fly fish. And
like real fly fishing for rainbow trout and shit, or like
carp, bass, trout, yeah. Redfish, especially redfish. Fly fishing for redfish is amazing.
Cool. Jeff, holler at your folks, man.
Oh, man, me personally, re-upped with Old Town Canoes and Kayaks this year. Can be happier with that deal.
They got horizontal rod storage.
They got some big stuff coming. They got some big stuff coming this spring. Keep your eyes peeled.
Hold up. We tried to do this whole fucking podcast without bringing out no horizontal rod storage,
And he
you
brought
just
it up.
had to fuck it up at
He
the
brought
very
it up.
end.
No,
Because
our
our
kayaks,
PA.
our kayaks do get delivered with seats though, so that's the plus. But anyway,
And pedal drives. They
yeah,
come
and
with a pedal
drives
drive
and
when they show
stuff
up,
doesn't
right?
break.
I have at least one that's still missing a seat. That's horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, proud to partner with them. But the podcast, man, we're still rocking with Western Sun Vodka. We brought on Revo during the year, Revo sunglasses, and then Dugout Bait and Tackle out of Marietta, Georgia, whose goal was to overtake Austin Canoe and Kayak in the online game. But that looks like that won't be a problem
Achieved.
now. So,
They
goal achieved. We'll take
Winner.
credit for that.
They're open.
Yeah, and we're looking at a few other opportunities as well for 2022. So it's gonna be a big year. It's gonna be fun.
All right, well, sweet. Look, check out. I'm doing this. Paddler's Playbook. Tell us where we can find you. All that shit. Social media. Obviously you don't like YouTube, but just tell us all that where they can find you on the socials.
Check us out on Facebook. Just search the Paddler's Playbook. Same thing on Instagram at Paddler's Playbook. You can find us on all the podcast forums: iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Odyssey. Anywhere that you enjoy watching or listening to podcasts, we'll be on there. We do an episode every 2 weeks. That's all the commitment we want to give to this, honestly, because we want to spend some time fishing and doing other things, and we also have other hobbies and families and everything else. So you get an episode from us every 2 weeks.
Hey, holler at your rods, dude.
Oh, so Turner Rod Co. Is the name of my custom rod company. You can check it out on Facebook. I don't post a whole lot on Instagram. I'm honestly about to be completely caught up. I actually got an order today of some components, and then I'll be taking orders again. I usually don't do a whole lot right after Christmas because I'm grinding to get people Christmas presents. I mainly do a lot of saltwater rods, but since I live on Lake Conroe, we've done, I've been doing bass rods here and there. But if you want a bass rod made, you got to tell me what you want. Like, I can't really suggest, like, hey, this is going to be the best for this, and this, because I don't do enough bass fishing to be able to
Can you
suggest
put
stuff for you.
pineapples on my rod?
Yeah, I can put pineapples
shit.
on your rod. I can put it on the butt of your rod. How about that?
It's like a splash guard on a paddle. That's how.
There you go. I can put it wherever you want.
Wait. The eyelets are shaped in are pineapples.
That I can't do. That I can't do. Sorry. We do have our limitations.
Jeff's the kind that does not want pineapple anywhere near his pizza.
Me?
Exactly.
He's like, that's disgusting.
That is horrible. Pizza should have pepperoni and cheese, and that's it. Get the hell out of here with the rest of it.
And other meat.
Yeah, add all the meats on there. But with the Turner Rod Co., it's fully custom. And when I say fully custom, I have a decal maker. I can make pretty much any kind of decal you want on there. We can
So you got a cricket.
No, I have a decal maker, my brother.
And freaking laser beams.
And I have a laser that I'm playing with
shit.
right now. And I'm kind of excited. As soon as we get off of here, I'm gonna go fuck up about $100 in cork with this laser, trying to get everything right on it. But it's fully custom. Everything's custom. Basically, any kind of colors you want, any kind of grips. I really enjoy doing custom EVA grips, which it can be any color you want. I mean, I can do purple and lime green, whatever you want out of it. But the big thing that I'm trying to get out now, I only have a few of them left, are my jalapeno poppers. It's my Poppin Cork rod. I spent about 2 years dialing in the right guides, the right handle, the right action, the right blank for a Poppin Cork rod, because a lot of people, they take their heaviest rod that they use the least,
Broomsticks.
and they use it for their Poppin Cork rod, and then they hate throwing a Poppin Cork, and they don't know why they're so fatigued throughout the day. This rod is designed for popping corks. It's got a larger handle so your hands don't get fatigued. It's got a fast tip on there, so you put in the least amount of effort to get a good solid pop on that popping cork. So check it out, Turner Rod Co. And if you're looking for a jalapeno popper, I think I have like 6 or 7 left is all I have. And I have a guy actually picking one up on Friday. It is the best popping cork rod that you can buy. And I can say that with, pretty good conviction.
Cool. So no YouTube. Y'all aren't doing a bunch of YouTube stuff then?
Nah, we're thinking about doing more and more on YouTube and doing some videos for season 3. Doing season 3, maybe doing every show live and having the show on YouTube. But again, it's a little more on the editing side, on the back end of it, and on our show, what you guys hear, if you guys hear it and you don't think it's edited, then I'm so excited and happy because that's the way it's supposed to sound. But in every episode, there's a good 10-minute chunk here, 15-minute chunk there, where somebody has to go look something up, or I'm editing out a lot of uhs and ohs and oohs to make everybody
Or I said
sound
something stupid and
to
ended up with a long
make
ass story.
everybody sound a lot smarter than they actually are whenever they
Yeah.
come on the show. So there's a lot of post stuff that goes into our
Okay.
show, but I try to make it seem like there's not a lot.
You do a good job.
I leave stuff in there. I leave stuff in there.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
do a
risk
good
we
job.
run. That's the risk me and Lambert run, Paul, is we're always live. So
Yeah,
it's,
always.
It's risky.
But-
It's risky.
Yeah. Same thing here. I ain't editing shit. Like the 3 times I went up to go pee, that shit is going to be in the podcast. I don't care. Like I ain't editing nothing. All right, Jeff. So where can we find you? Holler out to KBN and your personal stuff and all that good.
Yeah, man. Kayakbassnation.com. You can find articles there. And then, of course, on Facebook is where we built our biggest following. But we're trying to grow on YouTube. We stream live to YouTube. For some reason, it lags way behind what we do on Facebook, but we're slowly climbing over there.
I watch on YouTube.
Yeah, Instagram, we're doing pretty good on Instagram, but you can find us Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, basically, and then on the website. And then for me personally, same thing, Facebook, Instagram. I'm growing my YouTube channel, and then we cannot leave out the Kayak Fishing Network. It is slowly growing as well. The app is ready for Android. There's a few bugs I'm working on there, and then the Apple iTunes store or whatever the hell you call it on Apple. I'm a Droid guy. It's coming soon, and we'll have that app out and ready and try to grow it too.
Nice. All right.
Hey, and if I could beg real quick for anybody listening to the audio on this, for whether it's Paddler's Playbook or Bass and Brews or Kayak Bass Station, please give us reviews over on iTunes, even if they're bad, because that really helps everybody's algorithm and gets us pushed up. So,
But if you're gonna give us a bad review, say something better than this shit sucks.
yeah.
Tell me why I
Give me
suck.
some meat and taters, man.
Tell me why I suck. And I talked about this a few times. We had one guy that came on and said, Drew and Chris sound like 2 drunk guys that keep interrupting their guests. And I was like, that's pretty accurate. I'll give you that for a review. I'm okay with that.
He was like, I really liked the episode, except for the 2 motherfuckers that kept interrupting.
Yeah. And he gave us a 2-star, and I was like, that's fair. I'll take that. That's fair.
Oh. So that's, to me, that's perfect. Like that's what stood out was the 2 people who host the fucking podcast.
There you go, man. But
man,
I agree with Jeff. Leave us a review, good, bad, otherwise, but make sure it's an honest review and not just this sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'd like
honestly.
to whore myself out for some Instagram followers.
whore it, dude, whore it.
I'm just kidding, man.
Okay,
I see
well,
so
man.
many people. They're like, I made 3,000, and I'm like, damn, dude, I got like 30.
Oh shit! I was gonna do a giveaway when I hit 1,000. I was gonna send people a broke ass 5XD, a broke quantum reel from 1992, and a bunch of soft plastics. And I didn't follow through. That's my bad. But I'll do it next
Well, why
time.
does anybody want your trash for it?
Well, wouldn't that be the funniest fucking giveaway ever? They unboxed their giveaway from Paul Hills, and it's a bunch of bullshit.
That'll get you a good review over on the iTunes.
This
Exactly.
motherfucker. Now I got to go spend $25 to get this broke ass quantum reel fixed.
Nah, bitch, you better throw that bitch away and go get you another $30 one from Walmart.
From the
all right.
Walmarts.
The Walmarts. That's right. I'm from the Carolinas. It's the Walmarts. So Hooks at Hoodlums. Check out Hooks at Hoodlums. Great apparel. You know, love those guys there. They got some stuff coming out they've been doing here recently. Check them out. Check out us, Bass and Brews. We got some t-shirts and shit online. People have been ordering them. They like them. We appreciate that. Outside of that, thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you sticking by. 2 hours. I thought this bitch was going to be an hour and 15 minutes because Jeff Mallot was going to be here, and he did not uphold his end of the bargain. I did not tell him he was supposed to uphold, but here we are. It was a great time. Thank you to Jeff and the Paddler Playbook guys for coming on. We'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Thank you.
Adios.
That 45 minutes was Chris answered questions.
Yeah.